I have to be doing one of the 7 deadly sins at all times. I love all the sins. Like, I am a gluttonous, lazy, slutty, fun-loving gal.
This is why I love her.
Forever.
Wait,
Like,
do you love the movie Seven?
I'm obsessed with the movie Seven. It's so, what's in the box? It's the best movie of all time. It really, really does it for me. But one thing I actually like to ask guys on dates is, like, rank the 7 deadly sins, like which one affects you the most. And then I why am I still single? No, but like.
Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com/Trash Tuesday to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com/Trash Tuesday. Use code Trash Tuesday at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. So I'm excited because today we have a guest I've been wanting for years. She's an author of a book called The Shift that I highly recommend. I highly recommend the audiobook because that's kind of where I'm at in life. I highly recommend her podcast. Her content has gotten me through a lot, especially like I'll tell you this after I introduce you. Welcome to the show, the one and only Tinx.
Thanks for having me.
Iconic.
I'm so happy to be here. The honor is all mine, for real. I'm so pumped.
So truly though, like in my horrible first trimester of pregnancy where I just felt like an egg and not a human and not a woman anymore, your content, I felt like you were the only person putting stuff out that reminded me of like a fun, savvy, cool girl life. And I got to like live almost like whatever Sex and the City did for people. Like that's what following Tinx's life did for me. So thank you.
That's so kind. I'm never going to be able to live up to this intro. This is insane.
Of course, I'm so personally just curious what's going on in your dating life, but you don't have to reveal if that's like.
I'm dating
two guys at once.
No, I'm dating. I'm dating a couple guys. It's casual. Yeah, it's good. Last year I took a year-long hiatus from dating because I was obsessed with my ex-boyfriend. And so
we love a good limerence story.
Yes. So I wasn't able to go on any dates because of the obsession and because I was just so like, which is crazy because I broke up with him, but so I was just like, but I'm obsessed with him.
Wait, really?
Wait, I want to hear. So how long were you guys together?
We were together for like 9 months, but then I remained obsessed with him for a year after.
But why the breakup? Was it just a necessity?
I just feel like it wasn't right. It wasn't like, I don't know. Sometimes you're obsessed with someone, but it's not right for a long-term relationship.
You are absolutely correct on this.
Wait,
there
really?
are people that you know inherently wouldn't make a good partner for you, but there is something about them that you're just magnetized to.
Yes.
And you almost have to fight yourself on your, like, it's like the person that gives me the most butterflies I know is the person I necessarily shouldn't be with.
Yeah. That's like what Dr. Drew told
Yeah, because it's like
you.
for someone like you, Khalyla, it's like you shouldn't be chasing lightning bolts. You should be chasing safe harbor because based on your trauma. So was it something similar for you, Tinx?
Yeah, I think that I'm kind of at peace with the fact that like I'll always be obsessed with him and that's okay.
Wait. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt this. How the do you have the willpower, the self-control to be the one who ends it with someone that you're obsessed with and gives you the tingles and makes you feel like how
This is so anti-Esther, I know.
Can't. It's like for me, I'm like the cookies are right there. I'm eating them. They're like I can't put them away. How do you do that?
Because it felt dishonest to me. And also like there was just certain things I don't think that we made each other the best versions of ourselves, but we have this crazy connection and I always have so much love for him, but it's just sometimes love ain't enough.
Are you a disciplined, like in self-control kind of person?
No, I am like, I was actually thinking about it the other day. If I have to be doing one of the 7 deadly sins at all times. I love all the sins. Like I am a gluttonous, lazy, slutty, fun-loving gal
This is why I love her
forever.
Wait,
Like-
do you love the movie Seven?
I'm obsessed with the movie Seven. It's so what's in the box? It's the best movie of all time. It really, really does it for me. But one thing I actually like to ask guys on dates is like rank the 7 deadly sins, like which one affects you the most. And then I like, why am I still single? No, but like I can't go to a date and be like, so where are you from? Oh, the traffic's so bad in that area. I'm like, rank the sins for me. And it's really
What's
interesting.
the correct answer for you?
It's all different. It's just like it's basically asking people to say like what affects them the most, like pride, like
Okay, let's rank
envy, some for you, but they're all going to be different. So for me, I would say like probably gluttony and pride are at the top for me. Like I can be very prideful sometimes to my own detriment. I can be very gluttonous. I can be a little bit lazy too. That's why I say I love to do all of them at the same time. But they're different for I'm not a wrathful person. That's one that doesn't really interest me.
I would say envy scares me.
But does it affect you the most? Like you're not a jealous person.
I don't think so. I think in my 20s I definitely dealt with that, but as a 9-month pregnant woman, that's like
Who has the time for
Yeah.
envy?
I feel like
pride sounds fun.
Pride sounds fun. I feel like as a bed rotting kind of girl, like sloth
you're a
really
sloth.
speaks to me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. And sometimes you'll go through different eras in your life. Like, last year I was going through a very, I think, envious, weird time with, stuff going on in my dating life. And
that doesn't mean that you liked envy. You just were engaging in it.
It means it means the sin that was most affecting you.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's just basically, and sometimes I'll go through a hibernation period and then it's like, okay, sloth is really affecting me right now. Okay. Or, if I'm doing a lot of work for, if I'm really like thinking about wanting things and being like, oh, I need this bag, like I need to work more so I can buy this shit, then you're having you're being affected by greed.
Were you raised Catholic?
No, I'm only half Catholic and we weren't that religious growing up, but I just think it's a funny way to talk about the fun stuff in life, which is basically like all the sins,
I know, but so the opposite of this is the heavenly virtues, which we don't give a shit about.
Wait,
we
what
only
are they?
care about
I actually don't even know
I don't know
them.
them either, but I do know the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, it's so funny because you have to like be aware of them. And it's so funny when you're, it's like, oh, don't be slothful, don't be greedy, all this stuff. But I'm like, that's literally the spice of life.
The
Yeah.
sloth thing especially, because I truly believe like lazy is a myth.
Totally.
And I don't think there is anyone in the world who is inherently lazy. I think that there's usually something underneath that's brewing, that's causing them to either be in a freeze state, that's like some kind of like psychological, like traumatic state that doesn't allow them to kind of act on their own ambitions.
I think
Because
that's right.
I don't think someone wakes up every day and says, I want to be lazy. There's usually a self-hatred there when we're like, I wanted to do this but couldn't.
And
Totally.
there's something mental blocking them. So someone was asking me like, oh, what are the traits of like millennials and Gen Zs? And I was thinking about, I'm like, oh, the traits are always, the older people always call the younger people lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys have heard about like how people are saying, yeah, Gen Z is lazy, but it's like, look at the world that we've left for them. Like, how are they supposed to,
Totally.
why do they want?
Right. And if you take it a step further, like they've projected that a majority of them, even if they work their asses off, the majority of them will never own a home. So it's like we've created this world where it's like you go to work, you get disrespected, it's terrible. You can, even if you work off, you can't afford a living in the United States. Like I'm saying on average.
Yeah.
So it's like, what impetus does Gen Z have to be like, okay, I'm going to get up and go to work now.
Right.
Which is different than our like millennials, our generation. We're very like, okay, let's go, girl boss. Like we need to all work like 16-hour days and found our own companies. But then that hasn't exactly panned out for us either.
Not at all, actually.
So, I don't really, I have many criticisms of Gen Z, but that is not one of them. I think I really agree with you that a lot of bed rotting and the fact that it's such like a common thing that we speak about now and it's like, okay, I need a rot day, is a lot of it is like, you said it, self-loathing, or, you're scared of something or whatever, or it's just anxiety and just like not wanting to go outside and like to do what? like look around. It's kind of bad vibes out right now.
At least for me, there's so many days where the night before, I'm like, these are the things I want to set out to do. And I wake up the next morning and there's not a cell in my body that wants to accomplish anything. And it turns into this like cycle of like what's wrong with me. But then I later learned that it is like a freeze or like a fawn state. And it is something that happens when, you've had some like history of trauma. And so it's a bad.
She was molested pretty bad. I just want to let you know.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We laugh
like
about
to laugh
it on
at
here.
our trauma.
Yeah.
She didn't want to come out and say it. She doesn't know you well enough, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
My stepdad, say for instance, he was able to pay a mortgage for himself in a really nice neighborhood
He did not
in
molest
LA.
her.
Okay,
He didn't
good,
molest
good
me.
clarification. Yeah.
And then the mortgage of his ex-wife, all on a teacher's salary.
Yeah. And that's not true anymore.
Isn't that insane?
You know what I'll never forget is like watching the first episode of Stranger Things, and Winona Ryder like works as like a cashier but has a house, and I'm like, what?
No, but that's not true anymore. Like,
No.
it's really, really messed up, and we're kind of. This is only going to get worse, as I'm sure we've all seen on TikTok, like the eradication of the middle class and like it's just like the disparity.
Okay, Scott Galloway. I know you're influenced by him. I love
so
him
much.
too.
I'm
love
obsessed with Professor Scott Galloway.
He's so good.
Pivot.
He's so good.
We love him.
So I feel very disheartened, and I'm an optimistic person, but I feel really, really disheartened and uncertain of even what's ahead of us. So I don't really think that the bed rotting thing, it's,
I have a question for both of you guys. Like, I have discovered there's a subset of us millennials, it's not just me, who really identify more with Gen Z culture than millennial culture. And the easy example right in front of us right now is like that they're so vocal and open about bed rotting. And like, I personally was never like a skinny jeans girl. Like, I like the loudness of Gen Z fashion. I'm just curious, like, what are the things about Gen Z that you guys maybe relate to more? Or do you feel like, no, I'm a classic millennial?
I don't. I literally relate to boomers. Like I identify as a boomer with like just a millennial rising. Like that's it. Like I can be a little chuggy, but only on the dress, Up here, boomer nation.
How so?
I'm just like, well, I don't know why all boomers are Southern, but like I'm like it's time to pull up your bootstraps and go run some laps outside if you're hurting.
What about you? You seem more Gen Z.
I'm not, but I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm like a cusper. I'm not quite sure because I'm, as you can tell, I haven't worn a skinny jean in a very long time with a Chelsea boot. That's not to say that there's I love chuggy people. I have chuggy friends, and the way they embrace but coffee first culture is like warms my heart.
I agree. I think chuggy people are like some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
And happy.
Like true chuggy, like true, like have the live, laugh, love. They wear like the wrap scarves.
They gather on their dining room.
Yeah, they'll do. I mean, some of the nicest people. Like some of my best friends are chugs, and like they are who I go to when I like need to be with a family on a Sunday.
Same.
I'm like, let me lay on your couch, like you cook me, and it's gonna come out on a little scalloped plate that was from Target, like shabby chic collection. I love it. Like I love it. So some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet.
I love this comfort.
Chuggy is a very I beg my friends, and they don't even know what I'm trying to ask of them, but I'm like, please do not change.
Yeah.
Do not change. You need like a representative from all walks of life. And I think you need at least one chuggy family.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm inspired today.
You don't want to collect just a bunch of cool girl friends. You need a variety. You need to diversify your portfolio.
Okay.
That's true, because you're right. Like, it's the people who are not chuggy are just insane.
They're
And
insane. They're always sort of trying to be the cool thing.
Yeah.
And that gets exhausting to be around.
Agree.
Well, okay, this is one thing that I have to credit Gen Z and the current like cool culture is I saw this article that in New York City, the like hot spot for nightlife is a Swedish candy store called Bon Bon. Have you been?
I know, no, but I've seen it on TikTok, and so I think being serious, the reason that I don't relate to Gen Z is because they hate going out. and I love to go out. So that's like my main thing why I don't relate to them. I do like their humor, but the fact that they like want to go to a candy store and that's like the big thing, I'm like, but what's in the candy? Like a little party favor? And they're like, no, it's just candy. I'd be like, I hate that. Well, let's go get a drink. Like,
Tinx, what do you think then will happen to like Vegas club culture as Gen Z?
I'm very concerned about it. Like I'm going to write some letters to authorities like soon. I am very concerned about the future of my culture, which is clubbing. And people, this is a dying art that people they're forgetting this craft and how to do it. And it's like some of these girls, the young girls, they don't even know how to like dance on a table in a heel. And you see that and you just think the world is not, we're off track, you know? We are off track.
You are absolutely right. Do you know that Jules is just anti-club? I have a niece who lives with me and she's 22 and she's like, what for?
Yeah.
See, this
I
is
don't
where
get it.
I'm with a 22-year-olds. I'm a 36-year-old
right.
pregnant loser who thinks she's 22.
Esther, I feel very much like you are a Gen Z.
I think you're very Gen Z.
But that's sad. I'm an old person pretending
it's
to
not.
be young.
It's very authentic.
Yes, it is because it was as always your personality. Your humor is quite Gen Z. You were never really into going out that much.
I'm impressed with you, like being like, no, I'm digging my heels in. Like, I want to go to a club. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I love to go out, and Gen Z has a lot of, you know, they don't really like to do. Also, they're not into dating. They don't, you know, they're obsessed with like the talking stage instead. They're scared to go on a date. They're scared to do everything.
That sucks. But that's because dating apps ruined it, right?
But they hate to club. And I also think that like more than them hating it is also just the times changed and you can't have fun at a club because everybody's on their phone now. And that's what really ruined it. Because back in the day, you'd have your flip phone and you would like, you know, make your call and you'd go into the club and everybody's phones would be in their bag. And everybody would be looking around, looking for who's going to buy them drinks or whatever. And now it's just like everybody's taking pictures. And also the whole point of going out is to like do things that you don't necessarily want broadcasted everywhere. And everyone's always snitching on each other.
Yeah.
Everyone's always taking photos of people. And it's like,
It's not safe to go fully ratchet anymore. Like if
No.
I were to like exist in the same way I did in my early 20s because I lived in Vegas for a couple of years, it would be over for me.
Yeah.
Like the things.
What'd you do? Kill someone?
No, but it's like just maybe, you know, but it's like there are just some things that are, there's almost like everyone is overly conscious of being watched.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That sucks.
You hit the nail on the
That's a
head.
vibe killer.
You hit the nail on the head that now we have, because of phones, even if phones aren't out, we all feel like we're being watched and we're just like, everything is so like such an extension of our personal brand that now people don't have the same vibe of like, yeah, fuck it. Like I've had a long week. I'm kind of down to just go out and get ratchet on a Friday night. Like that doesn't exist anymore because everybody's like, oh, getting ratchet isn't part of my personal brand, or like, oh, I don't want anyone to take a photo of me, or I don't want anyone to see me, and whatever. It can't be like free anymore.
I mean, like there was a time where my friends and I would be pantsing each other in casino, like not even in clubs, but we thought it was funny to get drunk. We just start pantsing each other. It would go a little too far where the underwear, it was just so stupid and fun and silly. Like imagine now if someone got that on camera. They'd be like, oh, that was SA. Why did she do that to her friend?
Oh my God.
And we were just dumb drunks and we were free to be dumb drunks.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've given up on dating apps because of like all that's been recently uncovered of like, they're just meant to keep you on there. They're not, it's like it's gamified humanity. Like, do you give up on it? Do you have advice for making it work for young people?
So I had given up on all apps, but I've actually recently figured out how to game it back, you know, because I think you've got to figure out a system. So on Hinge, they have this thing called like, well, I don't know what its real name is, but it's basically called Rose Jail to everybody who's dating. And so they put all of the most attractive people, or the ones that the algorithm thinks are most attractive to you, behind this Rose Jail. So if you want to get to them, you have to pay to get a rose to give it to them, which is also inherently cringy, being like, oh, I spent $1.99 on this digital flower to send to you because I think you're like, I want to get in your pants. Like, okay, thanks Hinge. Now I'm really off to a great start. And I just spent a lot of time being bitter about it and being like, I would never do that. And like all the hot people are in there, and then worried about like, am I in Rose Jail or am I just in like the regular like feed? Like, I hope not, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I can afford it. And so I started buying roses and sending them out left, right, and center. And then I went on my podcast and I told all the hot girls who listened to me, and I said, listen up, there's been a vibe switch. Now we're sending roses as like a way to like put our dick on the table and be like, I'm in charge. I'm rich enough to buy roses and I'm sending them out to all the hot guys. If you're lucky enough to get one, good for you. And by the way, it's completely changed my life.
What?
Really?
Yeah, like no, it's so good. Guys love it. One of the guys I'm dating, the guy I'm seeing is from a rose hinge situation.
You got him on $1.99 rose.
Yeah, and now we're getting married.
I'm willing to bet there are a lot of men who actually like being pursued in that way.
Of course,
Yeah.
the whole
The
app
good
thing.
guys.
Yeah,
I think that's the good guys, by the way. Because when the guy is the hunter and he's chasing you, what happens once he gets you? He's bored. He needs to go chase someone else.
yeah.
I'm a huge advocate of like, you go find the guy.
No, that's
And then
yeah.
you get some shy, quiet nerd who's scared of women, and now he's yours.
Yeah.
And he's not going anywhere.
No, that's a classic that I love to do. I love to find, a victim, and then I come on really strong.
Okay, you have to use the V word.
I'm kind of a love bomber, like sometimes, and I like do a lot of. I'm like obsessed, whatever, and they're like, whoa, okay, and then all of a sudden I cool off, and then they're like, I'm obsessed with you, and I'm like, and so it is.
And then are you sticking around, or are you like,
Yeah,
ew?
then I stick around, but that's just like
Okay, but then if you stick around, then
That's
it's
fine.
it's fine.
I think love bombing is fine
because I think
you stay.
the whole thing of what you were saying is like, and also in modern times, the guy like hunting the girl, and then when he gets like, I think that's all messed up anyways these days. So I think we have to take, again, I'm all about breaking the box and thinking outside of the mold when it comes to dating. So
I also am a little bit tired of this same conversation about just masculine and female energy, because that
Totally.
is so just like I can't imagine that any time in my life a guy has truly been attracted to me because I've been in my feminine energy. Like Esther, you know me. Like I've been a tomboy my whole life. And whoever is attracted to me is attracted to that part of me.
right.
And I think it's so like binary the way people have sort of like explained feminine, masculine, and I'm so kind of like just over that.
I know. Like at first when that conversation sort of started to pick up steam, like on TikTok and just whatever online in general, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. We haven't seen this in a while. It's been the girl boss era. I like exploring this. But I think now I'm like, no, that's too false. Guys don't actually want that, because the doormat who does shit for them, they get bored, they move on. Like, I think it's...
Well, I also just don't know how much control we have over the energy we give off. So I'm not a tomboy, but like I have a lot of masculine energy. I'd say I like live in that space, and I would be lying if I said I didn't try to change it, because I watched all those TikTok videos and I was like, I'm so dominant. Like I'm so dominant in every area of my life. And I was like, okay, well, if I were to try and change that, how would I go about it? And I was like, everything that I thought of just felt so fake, and it would be not a true representation of who I am. And it's like, look, it might change at different areas of my life, but for now, I'm kind of in my masculine energy, and like you, I've had lots of people who like that about me. So, I think there's a lid for every pot.
But I think isn't that all subject to interpretation?
Totally.
Because I had a friend recently, like I'm dating a guy now, and we have a friend in common, and she was in his ear in the beginning basically saying like, I don't think she's your type because she doesn't have that like natural like feminine energy about her. And
Sounds like a terrible
it
friend.
irked me to no end, because he couldn't be more attracted to me.
Right.
And so it's subject, what she thought was masculine energy in me was something that he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She is so attractive to me.
Right.
So it's like, that's very like subject to who's,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
The labels are not adding up.
they're not
for
adding up
everybody.
at all.
Yeah.
And it was she was worried that, like she probably makes X amount of money and maybe that's a very like masculine thing, or she's on top of her shit, she's like chasing her goals. And I'm like, how is that a masculine thing like at all? If his masculinity hinged on financials alone, like that's not, to me, I'd find that super feminine.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I'm a little bit confused about that whole like lean in, just sort of let the man lead. It's like, fuck off with all that. I'm tired. Just like be you, whatever that is.
Buy the rose. Spend
Buy
the
the rose.
$1.99
Spend
if you can.
$1.99, yeah. Mhm.
Do you have any other like for other dating apps, or is it just Hinge where that's kind of like the tool?
I think that's the tool. I mean, Hinge is kind of like where people are majority of the time now. So.
I literally just did that, by the way.
You just bought some
While
roses?
you're at work.
Do it. And then you feel so powerful. It's
I
just like,
know.
it's so much better. Also, by the way, I've let Hinge off too easily because like they are like so evil, the overlords. Whenever they're like, Tinx, like we found someone you might like, and it's just, and you're just, that is always a punch to the gut. They're like, they're like, oh, like we think you might be compatible. I'm like, really? I'm compatible with Shrek. Thank you so much. Thank you. Not to be mean, but to be mean. So, I'm sure someone has said that about me as well. So,
Mother's Day is right around the corner.
I know, and obviously it's a very special Mother's Day for me, but it will also have to be one for my mom too, and that's why I'm really excited about Aura frames, because now that I'm a mom, I understand this is the exact gift you would want. Aura frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos.
And it's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app. And if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. And I think that's really cute. Like, I think the idea I have in my head is I would gift my mom, who's not very tech savvy, but I would already like preload all of our pictures, like from when I was born and up until now. And I think that's, I don't know, just a very thoughtful gift. And I realized that we are in a very, we're attached to our phones, and sometimes looking at a photo on a phone doesn't elicit the same feeling as looking at a photo like around your house or a framed photo.
Okay, can I tell you the difference? Because we have one.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at your phone, you're like looking it up, right?
Right.
But when I'm just walking through a room and out of the corner of my eye, I catch, oh, that's that photo of me and Dave when I
Right.
was pregnant over the holidays. Like, this is such a great thing to have in your house. It's not the thing you're going to think of getting for yourself. That's why I think it is a perfect Mother's Day gift. And I'm so excited that they're sponsoring us because I've had one for a while now.
We have one in the Tiger Belly studio. And, and again, when I'm looking at my phone at these pictures, you're like, okay, yeah, that was that episode. But when I see it, when it pops up, you're like, oh, that was that episode. And then you have almost like more memories like flood your mind about that particular time.
I know, it is so magical. Like, it really does spark joy for me to have this.
And Aura Frames was one of Oprah's favorite things. Did you know that?
It was also named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter. And I go to Wirecutter whenever I'm buying an electronic device. I always go there. So the fact that this was on there, that's actually how I found out about it. And right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com/Trash Tuesday to get $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com/Trash Tuesday. Use code Trash Tuesday at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. We love our Aura frames. Highly recommend checking them out, especially for Mom's Day.
Rewind it back to the days of chillaxing on the beach and all-day fun with Spring Break on DraftKings Casino. Play exclusive games like fan fave Rocket. The excitement is endless, the vibes are right, and the cash prizes could be huge.
We love DraftKings. We're pygmy girls.
Look, I lived in Vegas for several years. You know this.
I can't believe I didn't know you in your Vegas era. That hurts.
So it's in my blood to love blackjack, roulette.
You think it's in your blood, girl?
I know it's in your blood. Thanks, Daddy.
Yeah, you guys, we love DraftKings Casino, and new players start playing with just $5 and get $100 back instantly in casino credits. Download the app and use code Trash Tuesday to book your one-way ticket to fun with DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78 877-889-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus, physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, only void in Ontario. Eligibility and other restrictions apply. One per opted-in new customer. $5 wager required. Max $100 in casino credits awarded, which require one-time playthrough within 168 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Restrictions apply. Okay, so we're pre-recording this, so for obvious reasons, but at the time of this recording, there was a big interview that came out recently, which was Megan Fox on Call Her Daddy. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I didn't see it yet.
So she does say, like, I've gotten a nose job, I've got my boobs done. She says, I forgot what she says. She hasn't done like a lift, but she wants to. So basically, she goes into all this detail of what the surgeries that she's had, surgeries she wants, surgeries she won't do. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this what we want? Do we want celebrities to be transparent? So I kind of want to talk about this, not specifically about her, but just like, is that really a good thing is it better to just pretend like you look great as you are and have a unrealistic standard of beauty, or is it better to like promote surgery? I genuinely don't know.
So what did she say that she got done? Boob job, nose job.
I know I'm kind of trying to
Lips
figure
done.
out. Yeah, she has lips for
she
sure,
say
fillers.
I don't think she did say lips.
Well,
her lips are done.
Yeah.
Maybe
come on,
maybe she
Esther.
did. Maybe
Yeah.
she did.
Filler has to be.
Yeah.
I do think there is both an upside and a drawback to being that open, because you're basically saying, okay, this is an unrealistic standard of beauty. To get to where I am, I had to do all this. But also it kind of gives, like, it normalizes it so much to the point where maybe we think that just, like, this is something we should all do. Like,
that was the vibes I was getting from it. And again, no hate, because I do love that it's like, in general, I love that she's speaking out about it. But then I find myself sitting there like, oh, this is making me feel I'm watching an ad for like how to fix my face. And that's not good.
I'm torn because I do think it's really cool. First of all, I actually don't believe that celebrities owe people anything.
Agreed.
Unless you are like a fitness influencer and you have surgery to make your body look a certain way, and then you're trying to sell like your workout saying, oh, you'll look like, you know what I mean? Like
100%. Because a lot of those girls too, they'll get on Anavar.
Yeah.
And it's like it's an anabolic steroid, and you only have to use such tiny amounts for it to shred you as a female versus a male.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, you just do this and follow my workout and follow
like
this.
buy
and it's
my
like,
workout
no,
plan
you are
and like
taking
eat oatmeal. Yeah. So it's like that's
straight up
fraud.
dishonest in a way.
if you're selling anything to do with how you look, I think you have to be honest. But if you're a regular actress or whatever, I don't believe that you actually owe anybody any explanation. That's my opinion. I think it's cool, like, if you want to talk about it for sure. But I do think that with TikTok, we've gotten to a new point where it is I think we're talking about it too much. I have to say, I think we are. Like, the casualness with which people are getting these major surgeries does scare me. And I am a big believer, like, it's your body. You do absolutely whatever you want to it. But I think it's like the casualization of it makes people feel like they need it, and also makes people feel like it's not a big deal when it is a big deal, because it is a big surgery and also it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so these kids are like, get ready with me to go get lipo. And I'm like, whoa, like, you're literally like,
You're 12.
You're like, you haven't even graduated high school yet. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it should be something that you think about a little bit before you do it. And I think the fact that we talk about it all day, every day, to your point, it makes everyone feel like, okay, well, then this is how I should fix my face. This is how I should change myself. So, because we don't really have a lot of people in the highest level of the public eye who don't change themselves anymore. And it's like, if you look at, when we were growing up in the 90s and whatever, you look back at TRL or whatever, those, like a variety show, every celebrity looked so different. They were beautiful. Obviously, always celebrities, they're beautiful, but they all looked so different. They had different noses, they had different eyebrows, they had different lips, and that's just not true anymore. So I am a little bit concerned with the trajectory.
I feel that way too. Like I think about my 20s and you know, if I could have afforded buccal fat removal, like I was ready to go.
But that's so silly because your face is meant to be nice and plump.
I
and
feel that
fatty
way
at that
today.
age.
I do.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm confident now in my face. I feel that way. It sadly took like a first few dates with Dave where he told me my cheeks were beautiful, and I was like, I will do anything you say forever. Unfortunately, he never told me anything to do. But that scares me that like if I could have afforded it, or maybe if it was more of a culturally like normal thing to do, that I would have done it. And then that would suck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like, I think I definitely would have gotten buccal fat removal.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean, I think for me, it was just, I don't know, part of like having a bad body image. I would just want to have like a slimmer looking face. And I would be, I don't mean this against anyone who had buccal fat removal, but like I'd be devastated if I did that now. Like if I had had it done in my 20s and I was like, I don't know. I think I'd be really sad.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I didn't know that was on the table. It's not like I had the money to do it anyways, because like same
fucking
thing.
Jenna told me about it.
Jenna told me about it too.
Bitch, she wanted it too, but she also didn't
I know.
get it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, same thing. Big cheeks, kind of more like square face. And I remember getting masseter Botox for my TMJ and thinking like all the girls are getting it to slim their faces. I absolutely hated the way I looked. I cried about it until
Really?
the Botox finally wore off.
Really?
It took away my youthful face. Like the reason that I am almost 40 and that I feel like I'm aging well is because of my naturally fat cheeks.
Totally.
Like why on earth would
100%.
I make myself even more like gaunt in that way? And I hated it. It helped with the headaches and the TMJ stuff for sure. But what a regret. I'll never do it again. And it's just not for everybody.
Yeah.
One thing I've heard you talk about like recently, you know, when you're kind of more going on more first dates, a couple months, I love that I know all this about you. Is you would go on dates with guys and they wouldn't ask you any questions.
Yeah.
Wait, this is an epidemic.
No, it's literally crazy. And it's really sad because a lot of girls don't even know, they don't even notice because they go into the date thinking I have one objective to make this guy like me. And it's so heartbreaking. And I don't know. It's to me the first thing I notice if they ask questions and they listen. And they just, I mean, beyond asking questions, some of them just sit there. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do practice for my comedy special. Like, let me just get out my notes and like do an hour stand up for you. And it's just like, I'm kind of done with it, but I'm only getting to that point now. I'm 33 and my friend was like, my friend Sierra was like, now I just sit in silence if they're one of those guys. Because you know that type of guy where you sit down and you can just tell like they're not going to do 10% of the work. They're not even going to volley the ball back and forth. They can't even do that. And she just said, she was like, Tinx, just sit in silence. Just look at them and they can speak first. And it's just, she's right because I'm just like, I had a couple when I was getting back into the dating game at the top of this year, I had a couple of exhausting experiences where I was like, I sat down and it was just insane. It was just so crazy. Or the other thing that they'll do is like, if I keep asking questions because like I'm a curious person and I'm on a date, I'm there to learn about you, they won't like, they forgot how to converse. So it'll be one time I timed it and it was 40 minutes of just talking about him. I was asking him questions. And like I was asking him questions and like it's true, I could be an investigative journalist, like move over Anderson Cooper, but like it's a date. You should be like, what about you? Or like, oh, 40 minutes. Do you think I care about your family's commercial real estate business? Do you think I fucking care? I don't, okay? I don't care about your new apartment. I don't care. Like, oh my God. So but it goes into two categories. When I sit down, I can either tell they're not going to do any of the work or I can talk to them about the 7 deadly sins.
But why do you think that is? Because so when I was single, I was on Hinge, but I went on dates with mostly girls. And the reason that I found those experiences to be really positive is because conversation was just infinitely easier.
1,000%.
And it's not even that I went on dates because I was necessarily like, oh, like I'm a lesbian now. But I think it's because it was I wanted positive dating experiences again. And I
Totally.
knew that I could not find that with men.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's start with the introduction with girls because they know how to talk. And you come out of this probably just gaining a new friend.
Totally.
Because girls aren't weird about just, okay, cool, that didn't work out. Like, let's be
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And then I finally did go out with a guy. Painful.
Yeah.
Because it was the opposite of you. It wasn't that he didn't ask questions. He just didn't let me speak. It was just he was giving a full dissertation about his
Yeah.
life. It was like he was trauma dumping, didn't give me space to even like interject, nothing. And I was like, oh, this is like, I'm going to go home. This is terrible.
Yeah.
I also saw that you had kind of had some dating posts and chats on your podcast, like of guys taking really big swings and taking you on like big fancy second dates where you like, where are you? Let's get put pants on.
Yeah.
Like, what was that experience?
But isn't that your dream, Esther? Let's fly to Paris and shop for 12 hours.
4 hours?
4
But yes,
hours.
I do have this dream where I want to fly to Paris, get there at like noon, have lunch, go to the French pharmacy, fill my suitcase with cosmetics, and then just go home. But that's that's a friend date goal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a friend date.
I want that to be a friend. Yeah, can that, if you guys have interest, see me later.
Yeah.
What's considered a big swing?
Well, this guy, he did take me, our second date, he took me on his helicopter.
Oh, it's his helicopter.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, which was crazy. It was fun. It didn't work out. We're friends now, but that was definitely like a big swing. I had another big swing recently. When is this going to come out?
Beginning of May.
Yeah, like a month.
Okay, I think it's fine to say then. A guy did fly across the Atlantic Ocean for our fourth date recently.
Oh, whoa.
Mhm. But it didn't work out. We're friends now.
Really? Are you making that prediction for the future? Or
No, that would be so brutal.
I feel like I'm about to break up with
Was
him.
it the
broke
big
up.
swing that made it not work out?
No, it wasn't. It would have happened wherever that date was. It was just, but it was sweet. I mean, it was cool. And I didn't ask him to do that. I was just like, yeah, if you're down, like the cool thing about dating in your 30s is if I had had that experience in my 20s, I would have been so bent out of shape, felt like I owed him something because he came and, I had to carry it on or whatever. And I was just like, look, you're amazing, but I don't think we have chemistry and that's it. It's fine. So you can just be honest. It's like,
Is it possible that, and I'm just making this up out of thin air, is it possible that the fact that he traveled that far and wide to come see you, like, made you, like,
icked me out?
yeah.
No,
okay,
it
good,
didn't.
okay.
It didn't because when we were there, we just, I don't know. I could just tell like we didn't have that chemistry, but it's okay. I thought about, my mom was like, you're icked out because he's showing interest. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm really ready. I'm ready for that. And I'm really like in a good place with that stuff. I'm very receptive to guys doing nice things for me now. I wasn't always, but it just wasn't a match.
Esther, I have a question for you. Have you ever rejected a guy and said, hey,
No.
we don't have chemistry?
Never. That part of my life hasn't come up yet. No.
You've never had the pleasure of telling someone, hey, like, I like you, you're a great guy, thank you for flying across the Atlantic, but like, this isn't going to work?
There was one guy where I was like, we were on a walk and he was like, do you think if I had a soccer ball, I could hit that stop sign? And I was like, all right, this can't go on much further. Like, I knew. And,
Oh my God.
But so there has been, but when it's kind of ones where you knew the whole time you're not that into them, but it's like, why am I even entertaining this long?
Do you envy not ever having that rejection experience?
I don't envy it, but I'm so curious about it. I'm so fascinated, especially when, in the beginning of we're chatting and you said, I ended it with this guy. I was obsessed with him for a year. Like, I have a guy that I've been obsessed with for a decade. I did not fucking end it. Like, he did. And so I can't imagine your position of being able to end it. But this also brings me to something that you talk about a lot, which I feel like I never got to apply in dating, which is like, you touched on it. Like, not is it about how does he feel about me? How do I feel about him?
It's so important. It's so important. And I only started asking myself that when I was like 30, which is sad. But that's the way we're conditioned, because we're conditioned as women in this country that men are more important, that you're not valid until you have a man, that your entire goal in life is to be wanted by men and to, solidify that with a relationship, and that you are worthless until then. So it's no wonder that a lot of young women who date men are completely desperate to find a relationship in their 20s, to the point where they don't even say, like, wait, does he know my last name? We've been dating for 3 weeks. Does he even know it? Does he even know my favorite color? That's interesting that he brought me to this restaurant because he knows I'm allergic to this. He doesn't even, So it's just like, it's a paradigm shift when you wake up and you're like, oh, do I even like him?
Yeah, that seems very eye-opening and like something I never
So
thought
simple,
about.
but nothing I applied in my 20s at all.
Yeah.
Like, being liked and adored and being the object of someone's desire was the goal.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that somehow fueled my mind to think that this is the love that I needed.
This is like Tinx super fan question. On your podcast, you talked about this guy who you both agreed, you and him, you did not have a great first date, but you did have a really great second date.
Yeah, because he didn't ask me any questions on my first date.
Is that one still in play, or
No.
Okay,
That
I was
ended.
curious.
So you were just able to offer him, just be like, maybe it was an off day for him, let's give him another chance? Or was it because he was really hot?
It's because he called me. It's because he called me after, and like, I'm a sucker for like a call. And I was like, it was a very short first date. I'm a big fan of a short first date. And I was like, let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt and go on a second date. And he called me, which I really liked. And he was like, I had a great time. And then I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah, all right, we'll go on another one. And then the second was better. And the second one, I went right into it. For me, I feel like it's better for me to just be myself up front and start asking like questions about the 7 deadly sins and just going into it. Because if I sit down and I go into like, so where are you from? I think I kind of act like a freak too. So the second date, I was just like, let's go. Like, what's your attachment style? Like, let's talk about it. Like, who you voting for? Like, let's get into it. So yeah, he's sweet, but no chemistry.
Oh my God. You're like, what age do you want kids? How
I
many?
do say that all the time.
Do you really? We have some dating questions from our listeners, the Slugs.
Okay.
Because on your amazing podcast, you tend to get a lot of questions about this stuff, and you always give really good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good one. When is it an appropriate time to move in together? This is, for me, I moved in with every single boyfriend I've ever been with since the age of 17. And maybe because it was a financial thing, I don't remember now, but I've never not lived with a boyfriend. And I find that to be a little bit problematic now.
I'm similar to you. The second I learned about the concept of living with a guy, I was like, I'm not seeing you more than 3 to 6 months if we're not living together.
Why did we do that?
What I would tell myself then was like, going to bed and waking up are the best parts of a relationship. So what's the point of having one if that's not what we're doing? And then obviously Dave had to set a boundary, and then I had to push the boundary. And yeah.
How long before you guys moved in together?
I tried right away, and I think it like 6 to 8 months maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're horrified. I know. I'm excited.
No,
to hear.
it's personal. I don't think there's a right time. I've like only lived with one boyfriend, and it was because he like didn't want to pay rent, so he just moved into my room. But I've like never moved. I mean, it will be, if I get married, like it will be difficult to let my husband live in the house.
I have a lot of girlfriends who are sort of doing this now. One of my friends, they've been together for 13 years. and they've never lived together. They've
That's
been
my
married
dream.
for 5.
That's my dream. That's my dream. I like my space. I don't want to do all this stuff around the boy.
Really?
No.
Like what? What? You don't want to poop?
I don't either.
Ever.
Separate bathroom.
Separate
But there's
bathrooms.
doors.
I don't care. I don't. I need my time. I need my space. I want to do my skincare routine. Sometimes I'm very moody in the mornings. I want him to see me as like a mythical, beautiful creature, which I know is at odds with all of like my hyper feminism stuff, but like, sue me.
Do you think you'll ever live with a guy?
I hope not. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do. And I'm very like wherever I'm at is like where I'm at. Like in a year, I'll be living with someone and I'll be like, I can't imagine not living with a boy. Like I'm
Right.
very, which I love and hate about myself.
Well, you're open to change.
I'm so like strong opinions loosely held. Like
Love that.
Like that is me at my core. So yeah, I'll flip. Don't worry.
As I've gotten older, though, I've been a lot more careful about who I live with. And
It's also a pain to like, if you need to break up, like separate the stuff, move out. Like that's so much more traumatic than just being like, okay, we're broken up now.
yeah, and it's like back then it was like so cheap to break the lease.
Yeah.
Now those things aren't at play. And even now, and I've been seeing my boyfriend for a while now, like there's no talk about moving in together.
Really?
Maturity.
And I think it's because you get to that age where like you like your life.
Yeah.
You like who
love
you
your
are,
life.
you like your own company.
Totally.
And there isn't it's hard to beat that. And not to say that I don't love being around him. Of course, like at some point, of course we're gonna move in together because it just makes sense. But it's not as urgent as it was when I was 20 and I just had this idea of being like sharing a toilet or yeah, but all of that,
Totally.
I think at 39, just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
evaporated from my being.
Yeah.
I should go home and kick Dave out.
Kick him out.
And be like, actually, I changed my mind. He'll be like, this is my house. Like,
Some people make the argument that if you move in, though, you'll immediately know whether or not you'll like the person
So true. So true.
because you really find out who they
You
are,
really figure it out. Yeah.
like more than marriage, because you're living with them.
I feel like I did not learn anything new from moving in.
Okay.
But I that does make sense.
Yeah.
He certainly did. I did not. And by then he was stuck. So it worked out. Okay, how do you stop anxious attachment from ruining your relationship?
You have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You have to. It's really, it's good that you know, because I think if you're self-aware, that's the first step. But it can be a killer to relationships, but it's not your fault. It's just like shit from your childhood probably. So you need to go to therapy and figure it out. So it doesn't, I love the phrase, speak from the scar, not from the wound. Like live from a healed place, basically. You have to go to therapy and figure it out.
Did you have like a messed up attachment style that you had to work through?
I just think that I just wasn't even like dating as myself in my 20s. I was just like, I wanted to be like, have a boyfriend so badly that was the main issue that I had.
What healed my anxious attachment was dating someone who was more anxiously attached than me and realizing
That's
how
iconic.
fucking annoying they were. And I could not stand to be around this person. Like it was just maddening. To the point where he called me avoidant, and I'm like, nope, that is not
You're
certainly
like,
not my
whoa.
attachment style at all.
Whoa.
I have been like historically anxiously attached. I've swung into the secure
Yeah.
over the years, but dating someone more anxious was like, oh, this is how I've been
Yeah.
to my partners. No,
That's
thank
so
you. I need to
real.
fix this.
That's so real.
I always thought I was anxious, and then I learned I was anxious avoidant, which is like the second that you feel like they're pulling away, you're like, never mind then. I don't like you. I never liked you. Actually, let's
I don't
break
like you
up.
either.
Yeah, but which is all fake.
You're in that like very small percentage of people then that kind of swing into avoidant.
Well, it's like I'm like I remember in college once I had this date with this cute guy, and I like couldn't believe it. It was like the first few weeks of school, and then the night of the date, he's like, my car broke down, and I sent him this long message that was like, actually, I don't think this is a thing. Like, you go live your life. Like, what this long ass thing of we're just please stay away.
And it died there.
It died there. And then I see on Facebook pictures, when we used to upload albums,
Yeah.
all of his car being towed.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
like, okay.
Did you try to fix it after that?
No, I didn't even give it another thought, which is
You
weird.
double down on your this isn't working.
I think I doubled down and then started a fling with his ugly friend. Actually,
which is
Amazing.
the,
So
the correct move.
I won. Clearly, I won.
Did you want him to respond to that? Is that why you did that? Or like, did you want him to like be like, I'm obsessed with you now? Never.
I think I wanted him to say like, no, please, I swear. That's
Right.
always what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
I was always this bid for being begged, you know, or something, which is pathetic.
Yeah, a beg now would ick me out.
Yeah.
Like, please
Yeah.
don't beg.
Yeah.
Esther, you love beggars still?
That's a really good question. I think I still would like to someone to, the grand gesture a little bit.
A grovel is fine. A beg is a no go.
Yeah.
But a grovel to me insinuates that they fucked
They've
up.
done something wrong.
What would beg that? What would?
I guess it's the same
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
This is like when I try to say there's a difference between present and gift.
Oh God, here we go again. Here we go.
What
What's the
is the
difference again?
difference?
Remind us.
I tried to convince Dave once that a present is something that you get when you're expected to get it, like a party, like a birthday or a holiday. And then a gift is like a bonus surprise.
And he was telling you it was a synonym.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten a present or a gift in 10 years. So it didn't help us.
This one is a very common one, I think, that people go through. My sex drive is not as high as my boyfriend. What can I do?
Get high.
Yeah. I don't know. Masturbate. Honestly, I recently read the book Come As You Are, which is very dense. It's kind of like a textbook, but it explains a lot about our sex drives and like all the things that affect them. And it was very interesting. And if that doesn't work, just get a good vibrator.
Mine, it's an ebb and flow for me. It's like sometimes it's really high, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, please don't even
exactly.
breathe in my direction.
Yeah.
And I think that what men don't understand is that truly how our hormones fluctuate within a span of 30 days.
Right, because isn't
No,
there
it's
only
crazy.
like 5 days where we want to get
Yeah.
fucked a lot? And then
Part of it is when we're on our periods.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And because when I'm in my luteal phase, like not only do I feel horribly ugly, but I just don't feel like my head is the sex part of my brain just flies away.
Yeah.
I'm now realizing like when I'm ovulating in the future, because that's obviously like when you want to have sex, when you're like hornier or whatever for women. I'm going to be so terrified of getting pregnant that I think it's going to ruin my sex life. I think I need to get a female vasectomy or something. I'm
Your
so
tube's
We'll
tied.
see how the first baby goes first. Maybe you'll be excited. Maybe you'll be like, put another one in there.
Tinx, the pregnancy. I know everyone keeps telling me I'm going to change my mind after, and
And it's okay if you don't, by the way.
the pregnancy is too hard.
Yeah.
I can't do it again.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Do you not think that? Because like my sister has 4 kids and she explains each pregnancy as hell, but she's like, there really is an amnesia
I hate
know.
this.
that happens.
Yesterday, I said to Dave, I was like, if I like fall for that trick and I'm like, I want to get pregnant again, would you stop me? And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel safe around you anymore. Like the fact that you would let me do that.
Wait, is that why you journal your symptoms like really diligently?
Yeah. In my journal,
You should make a video to your future self.
that's true. Because I also like I'm keeping a log of the pregnancy, like it's basically like fake for my child, where I'm just like a fake smiling in all my pregnancy photos, and I'm like, mommy can't wait for baby, which is true, but I've actively chosen to not include in my diary like how miserable I am, because that's not going to be helpful for her. But in my private journal, I look back at it and I'm like, this is the most pointless journal I've ever made. Every day it's like, I'm miserable again. I don't feel good. When is this over? I'm like, I have to hide this. I have to burn this when my daughter is born.
She will eventually understand.
Yeah.
She herself will grow up to be, equally as miserable. Like my mom recently told me, and I know that you had a similar thing happen to you, Esther. My mom was like, I was a mistake. I didn't know this until last week. I was an unplanned pregnancy. She was breastfeeding at that time. And in the 80s, they thought, well, if you're breastfeeding, you can't get pregnant.
Right. They used to believe that. Yeah.
Right. So that's why my sister and I are so close in age. And she was like, you were absolutely not planned. I was shocked and really sad when I found out.
Did she not want another?
Not immediately, because she had just had a baby.
She was still breastfeeding.
Yeah, she was
That's
still breastfeeding.
That's a lot of work.
So my sister and I are only like a little bit over a year apart.
Whoa.
And so imagine that. And this is, my mom is kind of like a superhero in that she was very anti-stroller, anti-car seats. Like she wanted to like carry her babies.
Anti-car seat isn't really superhero.
Well,
I think that's illegal.
No, in the Philippines it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. You just strap your baby onto the moped and you 5 at a time. You just and you just fly on the freeway. But yeah, she was like, you were absolutely like not wanted. I'm like, that doesn't hurt my feelings.
You were a bonus surprise.
Yeah.
You were an unplanned surprise.
But at 39, my mom telling me that, I'm like, oh no, I get it.
Yeah.
Like that sounds miserable. Like
Yeah.
But
you didn't take
thank
it
you.
personally.
No,
Yeah.
no. But maybe not tell a 4-year-old.
Right. You
Right. I have an uncle who was like supposed to be aborted and he's like 60 and he's still not over it. And I'm like, grow up.
When was he
bitch.
told? What age?
I don't know, but I'm just like disgusted by his behavior.
I feel like
it.
boys would have a real big beef.
Yeah.
about that
Of course
shit.
they would. Yeah. They would take it so seriously. It's like, relax. You're here on Earth. Just enjoy it.
He's like he's 65 and not over it. I'm like, you're a fucking loser.
He needs to.
You're a loser.
That's your wound?
Yeah.
Be realistic.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
Gives
so wild.
shit.
Esther's on a tear.
I hate my uncles. I hate them all. I guess we're wrapping up, right? Like, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or like that we could cover, future things to look forward to from Tinx? I know you're DJing.
I'm DJing now. Yeah. Woo. Just learned for real, not like fake influencer DJing. Like I actually learned. So that's good.
What does
Well,
that
then we need to
even
make sure
mean?
that these Gen Z kids start
Oh,
going.
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
why
lead
you're
the revolution.
invested.
Yeah, I'm gonna lead the revolution. Like I'm here to make clubbing cool again. So that's exciting. And yeah.
That does sound fun because the truth is, we all know this, staying at home doesn't make you feel better.
No, it makes me feel worse. I literally am like uglier when I don't drink. I swear.
I believe that too.
I really
believe
feel
too.
that way.
I think you're right. Although there is that puffiness post big night out
It
that
depends.
I don't miss.
You can either get like the glass skin where it looks like you got really, really tasteful filler done, or you can look like, you haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's a gamble. So, but like I said, I live on the edge. So I take that gamble every time.
I actually also like the look of like looking a little tired. I don't know. I think that's hot.
That looks good on you.
Like
I
a
will
little
say,
dark
like
under eye.
slept on makeup is a really good look for you. I think.
Yeah, that
Esther.
makes me feel young, and whether it look
You're
makes
Gen
me
Z,
look,
so-
yeah, makes sense.
So the Gen Zers, they're just going to candy shops. Is that what they're doing?
That's all they do.
You're right. My 22-year-old niece went to go to the fucking flower field. It's spring break, right? It's spring break this week, and her boyfriend, who's also in college, they had a whole wholesome day in San Diego. They went out to eat. They went to the zoo. They went to Anza Borrego to see the flowers. I'm like, oh, boring. The fuck are you guys
Very
doing?
wholesome. Very wholesome vibes.
This sounds like, or I don't know if you guys remember early days of LA, like I don't know, 12 years ago, even if you weren't living here yet, but millions of milkshakes on Robertson.
Of course.
That was like my late night jam. And I would go I would do a set at the Comedy Store, or I would just like hang out and watch. And then I would go by myself, get like the Miley Cyrus milkshake.
No, millions of milkshakes walked so Air One smoothies could run. Like that, do you remember all the pictures of celebs that would be like,
Yeah, it was
the
rockin'.
spot, and I would like look, and I mean, I didn't live in LA at that time, but I would read it in Us Weekly, and I'd be like, oh my God, like this is like, that's where they would go.
Well, let me tell you, it was very sad, the actual reality
Look at the celebrities.
of being in there by myself
Rob Kardashian.
at 1 a.m. getting a milkshake. Also, you could get your
I want
milkshake
a
made
milkshake
as
now.
a sundae. So I got the
good.
Miley as a sundae, and I think it was like brownies on bottom, and then cookie dough on top.
So good.
And did they stay open late?
They were open really late, and that
Yeah.
was the whole thing. That
Ooh,
was why it was my
fun.
vibe in 2009 and 10.
So iconic.
I remember right around like a decade ago when Sprinkles Cupcakes started with their ATMs.
Oh, I love
Yes.
Sprinkles cupcakes.
That was a legendary move on their part. And I remember Jenna and I like having a meltdown, and she was like fighting the ATM because
because it
it
wouldn't come
wasn't,
out.
yeah, it wouldn't pop out.
I love sweets.
I
Yum.
do too. What is your like go-tos right now?
What am I obsessed with right now? I'm a big froyo girl. Like I really like I like Yogurtland. Like
But still frozen yogurt. yes.
Yogurtland. I haven't been in years.
yeah, I like to do it myself.
Can I
yeah,
just
do it
say,
myself.
I've swung completely back to Pinkberry.
I know I love Pinkberry.
And you know how Pinkberry was the first that we kind of really, it was a staple.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everything else came
Yeah.
out.
I
The red
almost got hit by a
mangoes.
car the first time I tried Pinkberry
Why?
because I was like walking across the street without looking. I couldn't look away from my cup. I couldn't believe how good it was.
Yeah.
I like almost died. It's really serious. But yeah,
You know, and then all of a sudden, like 100 different froyo shops
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah,
But
it's
then
good. It's good.
Nothing beats Pinkberry tart.
Do you guys like Go Greek?
it's so far from where I live,
It's
which
so
kills
expensive.
me. It's the best.
It's so expensive.
It's
It's
so
actually
creamy.
crazy. It's so creamy. It's so good. But it is an actually this week I went to Go Greek and I spent less than $20. So if the US government needs me to fix the budget, like apparently I can. Like it is, I have never gotten out for less than 20 before.
What do you get there?
I just get the regular tart, but then you get some of the toppings, and it's like it's insanely expensive. I think it's the most expensive frozen yogurt on the market. Like I swear to God, but it's very good.
For people who don't know, it's in Beverly Hills.
It's way too far.
And it's like real Greek yogurt, and it's just creamy and it's good. They have rice pudding too, which like if you're grossed out by rice pudding, grow up.
Grow up. Who
It's
is
really bomb.
grossed out by rice pudding?
I know it's bomb. It's so good, and I don't know. I really like it.
Do you have ever had culture in New York?
Yeah, it's not my jam. I can't eat froyo in New York.
What?
I know. It's one of those weird things. I'm like, it's just not. I want to be in LA. I want to be sitting in a parking lot somewhere, like gossiping with my friend. I just can't. I'm in New York. I'm like, what? I'm gonna be attacked by a pigeon while
Right,
I
it's
walk on the street.
I don't like on
It's
the go.
I don't like to eat in public there. It's so dirty. I'm like you can't walk. Like here, it's so like, oh, let's go, like da da da. You know.
What flavor are you getting at Yogurtland?
They change their flavors like every month, so it depends.
Okay.
But
I
peanut butter normally.
I haven't been in so long.
If they have peanut butter, I like that
Two.
one.
Yogurtland.
It's like-
I haven't done
It's
Yogurtland.
good because they have like all the nasty toppings.
yeah,
like
there
nasty.
you can get nasty there.
Yeah, and I like I like those ones.
And what do you get at Pinkberry?
It's the same
Tart?
or the raspberry tart.
That's
It
good.
has to be tart. I can't associate frozen yogurt with anything sweet. It has
Yeah.
to be tart. And then
Yeah.
I get the mochi, double mochi,
so good.
coconut, mango, and kiwi. So all the tart stuff in one, just with the contrast of the slightly sweetened mochi.
Yeah.
But that's it.
We actually almost went to Pinkberry last night, but it was closed and we got Magpies instead, which is soft serve.
Right.
It's just so,
Not a bad.
I love a vanilla soft serve with a chocolate hard shell. That's all I
So
need.
good, simple and delicious.
Yes, like even you could just roll up to McDonald's. For a while, they were doing dipped cones, and that was really huge for me. But I think they discontinued it.
So Tinx has to leave, but in like 5 minutes, but do you want to give out your just bags?
Oh, yeah. Tinx, here's what I wanted to give you. I am launching a hair care line.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations.
I have a bag for the both of you. It's called Ebb Ocean Club.
Ooh,
and
what a cool name.
So Khalyla part-time lives in Hawaii, and she's like an ocean queen.
I'm a lifelong diver / ocean girl, and I've never found anything to
branding.
suit my needs of performance hair care, but that's also ocean safe, reef safe, hyper clean. It doesn't have the
This is
petrochemicals.
gorgeous.
Fragrance free, right?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
mildly scented, but with a very specific type of scent. I
need
think
this.
you'll like, Esther.
I am
need
so
this repair
excited.
mask.
Khalyla, I can't believe I finally am
Congratulations.
holding
This
this.
is so cool.
Thank you.
The branding is like so beautiful and calming.
Thank you so much, you guys. I've been working very hard on this for the last year and a half. And I want to say this. You know how like a lot of like American hair care brands, like we really we don't give a shit what we put in our head, you guys.
No, but it matters.
Dude, we put silicones, petrochemicals without even like blinking an eye. And then if you look at SPF, there's all of this like, oh, you know, we care about the ocean and it's reef safe. None of that extends to like hair care or any other like cosmetics. So Esther, we go by EU standards. So it's hyper clean.
This is the first ocean club I've ever been invited to.
It's so cute.
You're an honorary
I love
non-swimming
this font.
member.
It's so
Oh
cute.
my God, I love the gentle scent and the
It is.
packaging.
It's shiso moss.
What?
Yeah, I'm Asian, so you know we have to go with the Asian
This is
sense.
so sick. This
Oh
is
my God,
really
Khalyla,
beautiful.
congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
I can't wait to
Thank
use
you.
it. It's
I
a wash
know.
day tomorrow, so I'm going to use it.
I'm
Let
very
me know
overdue.
what you guys think. I love feedback.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you can tell us about Ebb right now? When is it launching?
This launches mid-May. You can go to eboceanclub.com or on Instagram at eboceanclub. And please enjoy. Give me all the feedback. Let me know.
Your hair looks really good.
Yeah,
so
hair goals.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to use it immediately to be like you.
Same.
And I know my baby has hair because my throat is on fire. And it has been for 9 fucking months.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have heartburn.
Really?
Yeah, it
Really?
means there's a correlation to the baby then being hairy. And you guys have seen Dave. It's obviously a hairy baby.
I love a hairy baby.
The last thing too that I saw you posted about on Instagram, which is like sort of a shameful act that I related to. Maybe you spoke about it on your podcast. I don't remember, but that like your mom will help you organize and you'll just like be on the bed.
Oh, yeah. I'll lay on my bed and I'll be like, no, give it away. I fold that, do that. And it's like the best thing in the world. But we love to do it together. That's my favorite thing to do with my mom.
That's how I am with my mom
It's
too.
the best.
I
To
don't
organize?
We'll just take like an afternoon and like we'll go through everything in my closet, but I'll just lay in the bed, indulging in sloth, one of my favorite 7 deadly sins. And she'll just fold everything and she'll be like, this, keep it. No. And she's like, you should keep it. And I'm like, no.
Oh my God, I
So
so
fun.
relate. This is exactly what my Asian mom does for me. And
Really?
it is her love language.
Yes.
She will never sit down and have like a real conversation with me, but she will absolutely fold everything in a very symmetrical way with the hangers perfectly spaced. And I love spring cleaning where I'm just like, well, whatever you think I don't need, just, take it out. And she just does it.
I'm so glad that we all have this because
It's so, so special. And
Do you
the
think it's
best.
that generation of mom? Because I don't feel like I'm going to do that for my child
I
at all.
don't think I have that in me. I don't know. Do you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Grandma will do it.
Yeah.
Grandma will come by and take care of that. But I do love to bed rot while I watch my mom do things for me. And I just felt really comforted that you have that in your life too.
I love my
Because
mom.
I feel really guilty. Tinx, thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
being
This
here.
was so fun.
It's truly an honor to get to ask you all my super fan questions. I highly recommend her book, The Shift. Highly recommend her podcast.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad you guys have been posting the live AMA episodes
yeah.
lately because
They're
those
good.
are so good.
They get wild. The radio gets wild.
The girls come in with stories,
I
and then
know.
they come in later with follow-ups.
I know.
I love that.
It's really fun. So thank you, Tinx.
Thanks for having me.
And Khalyla, congrats on
Congrats.
Ebb.
This is so exciting.
Thanks, you guys.
Founder
I know
energy.
you have put so much work into this, and also it's so I'm like very obsessed with products. That's where I am a true millennial, and I feel like this is so you, and that's to me the most
Thank
important
you for saying
thing.
that. Because do you know how hard it is to be a podcaster? appearing this way and convince people that, hey, I belong in the beauty space now. So this is endemic to who I am. I've been a lifelong diver. I am the guinea pig for this product. This has worked for my hair. And it's not just for girls who are surfers or divers. Like basically, if this works for me and the conditions that I'm in, it will work magically for everybody. So thank you for saying that, Esther.
I'm very excited.
I'm a beauty girly now.
I know. I knew you always had it in you. Mostly just because you're pretty. But and thank you so much to our slugs. Definitely check out Ebb, and I think everyone's gonna love it. And check out Tinx. And as always, we will see you next week with a brand new episode.